Let's be real. Every single one of us has had moments where our thoughts spiral into negativity. We start doubting ourselves, predicting failure before we even begin, and replaying past mistakes like a broken record. But here's the truth. You were not born with negative thinking. It's a pattern, and what's learned can be unlearned. You've got the power to shift it right now. See, the mind is like a garden if you don't plant flowers. Intentional, empowering thoughts. Then weeds will grow automatically. Those weeds are your doubts, your fears, your I'm not enough moments, and the worst part, we water those weeds with our attention. Every time you say, I can't, I'm not good enough, it always goes wrong for me, you are feeding that negativity and strengthening its grip on your life. But the moment you decide, really decide, that you're done living like that, you take your power back. It starts with awareness. You can't change what you don't recognize. So the next time a negative thought pops up, don't judge it, observe it. Ask yourself, is this thought serving me? Because if it's not building you, it's breaking you. You've got to learn to interrupt that pattern the moment it shows up. Physically, mentally, emotionally, shift your state. Stand up, breathe deeply, move your body, yell out loud if you have to. Do something radically different. Your thoughts are connected to your physiology. Change the body, change the mind, then replace that thought. Don't just try to ignore it or suppress it. Replace it with something stronger. If your mind says, I can't do this, you respond with, I've handled worse and come out stronger. If it says, no one believes in me, you say, I believe in myself and that's all I need to start. You condition that response daily. Repetition is the mother of skill. You can train your brain like a muscle, and the more you work it, the stronger it gets. Remember, negativity is not who you are. It's a pattern you've practiced. But you are more powerful than your patterns. You are the thinker of the thought, not the thought itself. When you claim that power, when you refuse to let old stories run your life, everything starts to change. So today, make a decision, not just a wish, not just a hope, a real decision to stop living in the shadow of negative thinking. Replace it with courage, replace it with action, replace it with belief. And watch your entire life follow that new direction. Your mind is your tool. Learn to master it, and you will master your destiny. Most people go through life believing that their thoughts are who they are. They think, I'm just a negative person, or this is just how I am, but the truth is, negative thinking is not your identity. It's a conditioned pattern. It's a mental habit you've picked up somewhere along the way. Maybe it came from a parent who was always anxious, maybe from years of criticism at school, or maybe from failure that made you question your worth. But just because it's familiar doesn't mean it's true, and it certainly doesn't mean it's permanent. You were not born thinking negatively, you learned it, and if you learned it, you can unlearn it. The first step to breaking free from negative thinking is to recognize that it's not a core part of who you are. It's a strategy your mind uses, often to protect you. The brain's number one job is survival. It looks for danger, it predicts problems, and it scans for what might go wrong, because that's how it keeps you safe. But what protects you in crisis can limit you in life. If you don't take control of that mental pattern, it becomes your default operating system. It becomes the lens through which you see the world, and worse, yourself. You start believing the voice that says you're not good enough, that you're always going to fail, that things never work out for you. But that voice is not your truth. It's just noise from a past you haven't interrupted yet. Here's the empowering reality. You are not your thoughts. You are the thinker of the thought. And that means you get to choose which ones stay and which ones go. The moment you become aware of a negative pattern, you're no longer under its control. You can now observe it instead of becoming it. That space between the thought and your identity is your power. That space is where transformation lives. Imagine for a moment that your mind is like a radio. You've been stuck on a negative frequency, one that plays fear, doubt, and criticism over and over. But what if you could simply turn the dial? What if you could choose a new station, one that broadcasts courage, gratitude, and belief? You can. The moment you understand that the negative channel is just a habit, not a prison, you start to shift. You start to interrupt the automatic loops and tune into something different. It won't happen overnight, but with intention and repetition, that shift becomes your new normal. The only thing standing between you and a more empowering mindset is the belief that change is possible, and it is. You have the ability to retrain your brain, to rewrite your story, and to reclaim the truth of who you are. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are not negative by nature. You are powerful beyond measure. And when you choose to let go of the old patterns, you begin to live like it. When a negative thought shows up, most people just let it run wild. They don't question it. They don't challenge it. They just accept it as truth. But that single choice to let the thought stay reinforces the very pattern they want to escape. The key to stopping negative thinking is not to suppress it or pretend it doesn't exist. The key is to interrupt it immediately, decisively, and with power. You've got to break the cycle the moment it starts. Your mind operates through patterns. Once it recognizes a familiar trigger, a situation, a tone of voice, a memory, it fires off the same old script. That script might say, "You're not good enough," or "You always mess this up," or "Why even try?" If you allow that script to play, it gathers momentum and drags you into a spiral. But if you catch it early and disrupt it, you cut off its energy before it grows. That's your moment of power. That's where transformation begins. One of the fastest ways to interrupt a negative thought is through your body. Most people try to think their way out of a negative state, but the body is the lever that can shift your mind instantly. Stand up, move, clap your hands, shout something empowering, do jumping jacks, breathe deeply and powerfully, change your posture. Your physiology and psychology are deeply connected. You can't slouch, sigh, and shrink your body and expect your mind to feel strong. But when you open up, when you move with purpose, when you command your breath, you send a new message to your brain. I'm in control now. But interruption isn't enough on its own. You have to replace the negative thought with something better. Something empowering, something that builds you instead of breaks you. If the old pattern says, "I can't handle this," you don't just say, "That's not true." You say, "I've faced worse and I've grown, I've got this." If it says, "No one cares," you say, "I care, I matter, I'm enough." You create new language, new declarations, new beliefs, and you say them with strength, not like a whisper, but like a command, because the brain listens when you speak with certainty. This is not a one-time fix. It's a practice. You're training your brain to think differently. At first, the old thoughts will still show up. That's okay. Don't expect perfection, expect progress. Every time you interrupt and replace, you weaken the old pattern and reinforce the new one. You're rewiring your mental habits one decision at a time. So don't wait. Don't let another moment go by where you let your mind bully you. You have the power to break the pattern. You have the power to take control of your focus, your language, your energy. And when you do, everything changes from the inside out. Repetition is the foundation of all mastery. Just like your muscles don't grow from one workout, your mind doesn't change from one positive thought. If you want to stop negative thinking for good, you must commit to conditioning a new pattern every single day. Your brain is not fixed, it's adaptable, trainable, rewritable, but you must become intentional about what you're feeding it, because repetition builds identity. And what you repeat becomes who you are. Most people underestimate the power of daily mental conditioning. They think a single affirmation or a quick pep talk will shift years of self-doubt. But think about how long you've been rehearsing those negative thoughts. Think about how many times you've repeated, "I'm not good enough," "I always mess things up," or "It's never going to work." You've repeated those statements so often, your brain built highways around them. That's what the brain does. It creates neural shortcuts to whatever is repeated most often. So to create lasting change, you have to build new roads, and you build them with repetition. Start small, but start deliberately. Pick one or two empowering beliefs and repeat them daily with emotion, not as empty words, but with energy, with movement, with breath. Say, "I am strong." Say, "I create my future." Say, "I've already overcome so much." I can handle this too. Speak it until your brain starts to believe it. Because the truth is, your brain doesn't know the difference between what's vividly imagined and what's real. When you flood your mind with powerful language, especially with emotion behind it, your brain starts laying down new wiring, and with repetition, those new beliefs become familiar. Eventually, they become your new normal, and don't just do this when you feel good. Do it when it's hardest. Do it when the old pattern is trying to creep in. That's when it matters most, when you're tired, when you're stressed, when the voice of doubt gets loud. Those are the moments to double down. Those are the moments when champions are made, because anyone can think positively when life feels easy. But the ones who rise are the ones who practice strength in the storm. That's how transformation happens, not by hoping you change, but by conditioning your mind every day to support the version of you that you're becoming. Remember, repetition works both ways. You're either reinforcing your power or reinforcing your limitations. Every thought, every word, every belief you repeat is shaping your identity. So choose wisely. Flood your mind with thoughts that energize you, empower you, and elevate you. Practice until it becomes second nature, until the old doubts don't even feel like yours anymore. You're not waiting for confidence. You're not hoping for positive thoughts. You're creating them day by day, word by word, repetition by repetition. That's how you stop negative thinking, not by wishing it away, but by building something stronger to take its place. Every day is a chance to condition your mind for greatness. Start today.